Hello everyone, and welcome back to our weekly series of Is the Shrine Worth It? The series where we have a look at the perks and the Shrine of Secrets and see if they're really worth your 2,000 iridescent shards each. This week we have a pretty decent shrine. We have one survivor perk and one killer perk that are both licensed. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. We have perks from the Doctor, the Animatronic, Alan Wake, and Claudette. Those perks are Overcharge, Help Wanted, Deadline, and Self-Care. Let's get into the survivor perks first. Our first survivor perk is Self-Care. Unlocks the Self-Care ability, which allows you to heal yourself without a medkit at 35% normal healing speed. This is what it looks like in game. I'm going to give Self-Care an 8 out of 10 in terms of its strength. When you don't have a medkit anymore, or you completely use up a medkit, this can help you top up the last bit of health that you need. It's a very strong perk and can pretty much just fit into your build without needing to use anything else. However, if you add botany knowledge, it makes it a little bit faster. On the kind of negative side of things, Claudette is one of the original characters from the game, so it's absolutely ridiculous that Behaviour are putting characters that are part of the original game into the shrine. So do not pick this up this week. Please just go and unlock her by putting points into the blood webs that are for Claudette. That's the only way that you should really be getting this perk. Our next survivor perk is Deadline. This perk activates when you are injured. Skill checks appear 10% more frequently when repairing or healing and appear in random places. The penalty for missing a skill check is reduced by 50%. This is what it looks like in game. I'm going to give this perk a 3 out of 10. I think it's really bad, and I think it's actually kind of directed at more beginner level players, because reducing the skill check missing penalty is not really a big deal for like literally anyone, apart from people who are new to the game and don't want to be punished as hard for it. And 10% more frequent appearing of skill checks is pretty good if you're doing a build where you're trying to gen rush, but at the same time you have to be injured for it to work. So I really don't think this works in many builds at all unless you're brand new to the game or you just love Alan Wake and you just want to use his perks. However, Alan Wake is a licensed character, so it is worth picking up his perks in the shrine. You never know, they might buff them, and the only other way that you're going to get them is if you use your real life money. Let's move on to the killer perks. Our first killer perk is Help Wanted. When you damage a generator, it becomes compromised. Only one generator can be compromised at a time. When the compromised generator is completed, your successful basic attack cooldowns are 25% faster for 60 seconds. This is what it looks like in game. I'm going to give Help Wanted a 7 out of 10. I can see builds in which when you're using your basic attack, it's really important to get those successful, faster basic attacks. But as a whole, it's not that strong, can just about go in some builds. I wouldn't personally put it in any of the builds that I know, but that's just me. Whether you think it is strong or weak, it is from a licensed character, and that means that it's 100% worth picking up this week. You never know, they could buff them. Our fourth and final perk is Overcharge. Overcharge a generator by performing the damage generator action. The next survivor interacting with that generator is faced with a difficult skill check. Failing the skill check results in an additional 4% loss progression. Succeeding the skill check grants no progress but prevents the generator explosion. After Overcharge is applied to a generator, its regression speed increases from 85% of normal to 130% of normal over the next 30 seconds. This is what it looks like in game. I'm going to give Overcharge a 9 out of 10. I think it's a very strong gen regression perk, especially if you're a killer that tends to kick gens quite a lot. You just kind of get it on repeat very quick, so I would definitely slot this into some of my builds. Unfortunately, the Doctor is a very odd character in this game, and it's just much more value if you pick him up in full You level him up with your blood points, you get all 3 of his perks instead. Stay away from this in the shrine this week. So to recap this week, we want to pick up the 2 perks that are from our licensed characters, which are Help Wanted and Deadline. We want to stay well away from Overcharge and Self-Care. Thank you for watching this week, and hopefully next week we get an even better shrine. See you then. Bye.